Welcome back to Numismatics Hub, where the most ordinary coins in your possession might be hiding extraordinary secrets. Today, I'm going to reveal the shocking truth about a coin that millions of Americans dismiss as worthless pocket change, but sophisticated collectors know better. That innocent-looking 1965 Roosevelt dime in your change jar could be worth thousands of dollars, and the story behind why will leave you checking every dime you encounter for the rest of your life. Picture the year 1965. The Vietnam War was escalating. The Beatles were conquering America, and President Lyndon Johnson was signing the Coinage Act that would forever change American currency. This wasn't just another piece of legislation, it was a seismic shift that ended over 170 years of silver coinage in America. The rising price of silver had reached a point where the metal in dimes and quarters was worth more than the coin's face values, forcing the United States government to make a dramatic decision that would create one of the most valuable error coins in modern history. The transition from 90% silver dimes to copper-nickel clad composition was supposed to be clean and simple. Starting in 1965, all Roosevelt dimes would be struck using the new clad planchets, completely eliminating silver from America's 10-cent pieces. But in the controlled chaos of a massive mint operation producing billions of coins, perfection proved impossible. Hidden among the nearly 2 billion 1965 Roosevelt dimes that rolled off the presses lie specimens that would become numismatic legends. Here's where the story becomes absolutely electrifying for collectors. Despite the official changeover to clad composition, some 1965 Roosevelt dimes were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964 production. These transitional error dimes represent one of the most dramatic minting mistakes in United States history, transforming ordinary 10-cent pieces into treasures that have stunned auction houses and collectors worldwide. The 1965 silver dime error is so rare that finding one is like discovering buried treasure in your pocket change. These mistakes occurred when workers at the mint failed to completely clear all the silver planchets from the production machinery before beginning the 1965 clad dime production. The result was a small number of 1965 dated Roosevelt dimes struck on 90% silver planchets, creating coins that look almost identical to regular 1965 dimes, but contain precious metal that makes them extraordinarily valuable. Identifying a genuine 1965 silver dime requires more than casual observation. The weight difference provides the most reliable test, as silver dimes weigh approximately 2.5 grams, while clad dimes weigh about 2.268 grams. This seemingly small difference is crucial, as it represents the distinction between a 10-cent coin and a specimen that has sold for thousands of dollars at major auctions. Professional collectors use precision scales to verify the weight, followed by audio tests where the distinctive ring of silver creates a different sound than the dull thud of clad composition. The visual differences between silver and clad 1965 dimes are subtle but detectable to trained eyes. Silver dimes exhibit a brighter, more lustrous appearance around the edges, while clad dimes show the distinctive copper-colored sandwich layer visible on the rim. Under magnification, the edge reading on silver dimes appears cleaner and more defined, reflecting the superior striking characteristics of precious metal planchets. Authentication of 1965 silver dimes has become a specialized field within professional numismatics. Major grading services like PCGS and NGC have developed expertise in verifying these transitional errors, using advanced metallurgical testing to confirm composition. The certification process involves weight verification, specific gravity testing, and microscopic examination of edge characteristics to distinguish genuine silver errors from clever fakes or altered coins. The market values for authenticated 1965 silver dimes have reached astronomical levels that shock even experienced collectors. Specimens in average uncirculated condition have commanded prices ranging from $5,000 to $15,000 at major auction houses. The most exceptional examples, those with superior preservation and certified authenticity, have achieved even higher results, with some sales exceeding $20,000 for coins that cost 10 cents when new. The rarity of 1965 silver dimes cannot be overstated. While nearly 2 billion regular clad dimes were produced that year, experts estimate that fewer than 20 genuine silver transitional errors are known to exist. This scarcity level places them among the most sought-after modern era coins, creating a treasure hunting phenomenon where collectors examine thousands of 1965 dimes, hoping to discover one of these legendary mistakes. The hunt for 1965 silver dimes has created its own subculture within coin collecting, where enthusiasts armed with precision scales and magnifying glasses search through rolls of dimes with the intensity of prospectors panning for gold. The emotional appeal goes beyond monetary considerations, as finding one of these errors represents a connection to one of the most significant transitions in American coinage history. Storage and preservation of a discovered 1965 silver dime requires immediate attention to maintaining its condition. Even minor handling damage can significantly impact the value of such a rare error coin. Professional collectors recommend immediate placement in protective holders to prevent oxidation, fingerprints, or other damage that could compromise the coin's grade and market value. The collecting community surrounding 1,965 transitional errors shares information through specialized forums, publications, and coin shows dedicated to error coin varieties. These collectors understand that patience and persistence are essential virtues in the search for transitional errors, as genuine examples remain among the rarest finds in modern numismatics. But the 1965 silver dime isn't the only error variety that makes this year special for Roosevelt dime collectors. Off-center strikes, where the planchet wasn't properly positioned during striking, create dimes with portions of the design missing and distinctive crescents of unstruck metal. Double strikes, where a dime received two impressions from the dies, result in overlapping images that create fascinating visual effects. Broad strike errors, where dimes were struck outside the collar, produce coins that are wider and thinner than normal specifications. Die varieties add another layer of collectible appeal to 1965 Roosevelt dimes. Repunched date varieties, where the year appears with shadow numbers from multiple impressions, create subtle but valuable differences that specialists prize. Die cracks, breaks, and other forms of die damage transfer to coins as raised lines, missing design elements, or unusual surface textures that make certain dimes distinctive and collectible. The grading of 1965 Roosevelt dimes follows standard numismatic practices, with particular attention to strike quality and surface preservation. Mint-state examples that escaped circulation and retained their original luster command significant premiums over average circulated specimens. The full bands designation, awarded to dimes where the horizontal bands on the reverse torch show complete separation, represents the pinnacle of striking quality for Roosevelt dimes. Professional authentication becomes absolutely crucial when dealing with potentially valuable 1965 dimes. The difference between a common clad dime worth 10 cents and a silver transitional error worth thousands of dollars requires expert verification that only certified grading services can provide. Attempting to authenticate these errors without professional equipment often leads to disappointment when apparent silver dimes prove to be normal clad examples with deceptive toning or wear patterns. The emotional impact of discovering a genuine 1965 silver dime extends beyond the monetary windfall. These coins represent a tangible connection to a pivotal moment in American economic history when the government was forced to abandon precious metal coinage due to market pressures. Each transitional error tells the story of the massive industrial process required to produce billions of coins while managing the complex logistics of changing metal compositions. The next time you encounter a 1965 Roosevelt dime, don't just glance and move on. Take the time to examine it carefully, checking for the subtle signs that might indicate you've found numismatic treasure. Listen to the sound it makes when dropped on a hard surface. Feel its weight compared to other dimes. Look closely at the edge for any indication of silver content. Remember that precision scales are the most reliable method for initial screening, as the weight difference between silver and clad composition provides definitive evidence. That seemingly ordinary 1965 dime might be your ticket to joining the exclusive ranks of collectors who've discovered one of the rarest error coins in American numismatics. The search requires knowledge, patience, and a bit of luck, but the potential rewards make every 1965 dime worth examining. Keep hunting, keep weighing, and keep that magnifying glass ready, because you never know when a simple dime will reveal itself as the discovery that changes everything. This is Numismatics Hub, where every coin has a story, and some stories are worth more than you ever dreamed possible. Imagine holding a simple dime in your hand, a small silver-colored coin that most people overlook and spend without a second thought. Now imagine if that same dime, the one you could find in your pocket change, was worth tens of thousands of dollars. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's the reality when it comes to certain rare 2000p Roosevelt dimes. This tiny piece of American currency, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, has become one of the most sought-after treasures for collectors in the modern coin world, with values reaching jaw-dropping levels between $19,500 and $89,000 at major auctions. Let's uncover the story behind this coin and why it's making headlines in the numismatic community. The Roosevelt dime series began in 1946 to honor Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who had passed away in 1945. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II left a permanent mark on American history. He was also a champion in the fight against polio, which inspired the March of Dimes Foundation. Fittingly, the dime was chosen to bear his portrait. The design, created by John R. Sinek, has remained relatively unchanged for decades, which means that the differences, errors, and unique characteristics in modern dimes like the 2000p issue become even more special to collectors. The year 2000 marked the beginning of a new millennium, and with that came a heightened interest in coins minted during that time. The Philadelphia Mint, designated with the P mint mark, struck millions of dimes that year. On the surface, most of these coins look ordinary, with Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, the word liberty prominently to the left, in God We Trust below, and the date 2000 alongside the mint mark P. The reverse displays the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, accompanied by the motto, E pluribus unum. But among those millions of coins are a few with striking features that make them worth a fortune. Collectors are always on the hunt for minting errors, and the 2000p dime has some of the most remarkable. Mis-strikes, off-center strikes, and full bands on the reverse are just the beginning. The most prized examples are those struck on experimental planchets or transitional metals. Imagine a dime that wasn't even supposed to exist, like one struck on a copper-nickel planchet mint for another denomination. These mistakes slipped through quality control and into circulation, and today, those very errors are changing lives for lucky collectors who stumble upon them. One of the major attractions of the 2000p Roosevelt dime is its condition rarity. While millions were struck, only a tiny fraction have survived in pristine mint state or proof-like condition. Coins graded MS-67, MS-68, or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC command premium prices at auction. Some even exhibit full torch or full bands detail on the reverse, meaning the horizontal bands on the torch are fully struck and distinct, a sign of a superior strike. Collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for such examples. Now think about this for a second. You might have a 2000p dime sitting unnoticed in a drawer, tucked inside a jar of spare change, or even lying on the ground where someone else dropped it without realizing its worth. What separates an ordinary 10-cent coin from a dime valued in the tens of thousands is its rarity, its error, and its condition. This is why coin collectors today are checking their change more carefully than ever before. The market for rare modern coins has exploded in recent years, with platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and coin forums highlighting unbelievable auction prices. More people are searching their coins and bringing newfound excitement to the hobby. And the 2000p Roosevelt dime stands at the center of this buzz. Collectors know that not every dime is special, but the possibility that an overlooked piece could be worth more than a brand new car is too powerful to ignore. Auction houses have reported remarkable results for the 2000p dime. At one sale, an example with an unusual off-metal strike realized $19,500. Another specimen in top mint state with full torch details soared to $32,000. A spectacular transitional error sold for $48,500. And the crown jewel of them all, a flawless, high-grade rarity with extraordinary detail, brought an astonishing $89,000 under the hammer. These figures aren't myths. They're documented prices that prove the incredible value hidden in a small dime. Collectors and treasure hunters alike are fascinated by coins like this because they represent the thrill of discovery. You don't have to be wealthy to find one. All it takes is awareness, patience, and a keen eye. And in today's world, where coins are often overlooked, the reward for paying attention could be life-changing. That's why stories of these high-value finds continue to inspire millions to start looking more carefully at their change. But the next time you get a handful of dimes back at the grocery store, pause for a moment. Flip each one over, check the date, and look for that tiny P mint mark from the year 2000. Because you never know, you might be holding a piece of modern American history worth more than you ever imagined. And now for the exciting part. Let's recap the jaw-dropping auction prices that have made the 2000p Roosevelt dime famous. One sold for $19,500, another for $32,000. One reached $48,500, and the finest known example went all the way to $89,000. Yes, a 10-cent coin turned into nearly $90,000. That's why collectors are saying this coin is one of the ultimate hidden treasures of modern U.S. coinage. Keep your eyes open, because the change in your pocket might just change your life. In the early 1990s, America was embracing a new era, and yet in the world of coins, the smallest details from those years continue to tell incredible stories. Among them is the 1992p Roosevelt dime, a coin so ordinary in appearance that most people would pass it without a second glance. Yet within the numismatic world, it has become one of the surprising treasures of modern coinage. Think about it. A small 10-cent piece struck in Philadelphia with the iconic image of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, something you probably held countless times in your pocket or received back as change at the grocery store. But hidden among the millions minted that year are examples that today fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction, turning what seems like spare change into a collector's dream. The Roosevelt dime itself carries deep historical meaning. Introduced in 1946, shortly after Roosevelt's passing, the coin was meant to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his tireless efforts in the fight against polio. The design by John R. Sinek features Roosevelt's strong profile on the obverse, while the reverse carries the torch, oak branch, and olive branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. The design remained consistent in 1992, but the Philadelphia Mint struck these coins in such high numbers that the idea of one being rare seems almost impossible. Over 673 million Roosevelt dimes were minted at Philadelphia in that year alone, flooding circulation across the country. But rarity in coins is often about more than sheer mintage numbers. It's about condition, errors, and the stories attached to them. Collectors and experts know that the real value of a 1992p Roosevelt dime lies in its subtle variations, striking errors, and survival in pristine condition. Mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, and missing clad layers, have been found in dimes of this era and can drastically increase their desirability. One of the most significant types of rare 1992p dimes comes from high-grade examples that were never used in circulation, retaining their sharp details and luster. These mint state or proof-like coins, when graded by top services like PCGS or NGC, can soar in value. The reality is that even though most 1992p dimes are worth only their face value, a small percentage of these coins carry extraordinary premiums, transforming them into ultra-collectible rarities. Imagine someone unknowingly spending a dime that today could pay for a semester of college. It has happened before. In recent auctions, collectors have fought over these seemingly common coins, driving prices far beyond expectations. The emotional appeal is strong. Anyone could stumble upon one of these treasures in pocket change, a forgotten coin jar, or an old collection tucked away in a drawer. That chance discovery, the possibility of uncovering a dime worth tens of thousands, is what keeps both veteran collectors and everyday people searching through their change. The design details of the 1992p dime are subtle yet powerful. On the obverse, Roosevelt's portrait is crisp, with the inscriptions Liberty and I in God We Trust framing his profile, along with the year 1992 and the mint mark P indicating Philadelphia. On the reverse, the flame of the torch rises in the center, flanked by branches, with the inscriptions United States of America, 1 dime, and E pluribus unum wrapping around. To most, it's just a coin they've seen their whole lives, but to collectors, the difference between a circulated example worth 10 cents and a gem-quality rarity worth over $100,000 can be as small as the shine of the luster or the absence of a scratch. Over the years, stories of incredible finds have fueled the mystique of coins like the 1992p dime. Collectors share tales of searching through rolls of dimes from the bank or checking the coins left behind by relatives, only to uncover something extraordinary. It's a reminder that history is not just in museums, but can be found in the palm of your hand. The dime, though modest in value, represents an era, a leader, and a nation's resilience, making it an appealing piece for both seasoned numismatists and beginners hoping to strike gold. Figuratively speaking, the AS of today, the market for Roosevelt dimes, particularly rare issues like the 1992p, continues to grow. Coin shows, auctions, and online platforms are filled with eager buyers hunting for high-grade and rare varieties. For example, a 1992p Roosevelt dime in superb mint state condition has sold for $11,500, while rare examples and near-perfect graded coins have reached staggering amounts, with top specimens climbing as high as $111,000. These jaw-dropping prices show just how powerful rarity, condition, and collector demand can be in transforming a common dime into a numismatic legend. The next time you get change back at a store, don't overlook that small dime sitting in your palm. It could be more than pocket money. It could be a hidden fortune. A 1992p Roosevelt dime may seem ordinary, but under the right circumstances, it's a coin that has proven to be worth thousands, even over $100,000. That's the magic of coin collecting, the thrill of discovery, the passion for history, and the excitement of knowing that treasures still exist in plain sight. Auction records for the 1992p Roosevelt dime show the remarkable range of its value. At one major auction, a pristine mint state example sold for $11,500. Another error coin brought in nearly $19,000. And in one of the most extraordinary cases, a flawless specimen reached an astonishing $111,000. These results continue to inspire collectors to look closer at every dime they encounter, reminding us all that sometimes the smallest things can carry the biggest surprises.